We know already Pam Bondi's totally after you. Pam Bondi's after you because you don't follow the rules, the federal rules that require that if we have people that are, I don't know, say at Rikers Island there in New York, they be deported. So Pam Bondi has already filed charges against Letitia James
We're
for that.
here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
And it stops in New Jersey. And it's got to stop everywhere. It's got to stop in Illinois. They have now referred 4 key mayors in cities like Chicago, in cities like Boston, in cities, even New York. Eric Adams is on that list for criminal referral because guess what? They are in total violation of the law. And I'll tell you, you can clean this country up pretty darn fast if you got people that are willing to cooperate, that aren't suffering from a severe case of TDS, as too many are, including one Letitia James. Here's Pam Bondi arresting bad guys. Yeah, MS-13 gang members. They say they got the leader of this gang in Virginia.
What I want to do, I want to have other governors, other law enforcement officers come here to Virginia and see this amazing task force, Governor, that is led by our agencies and Governor Youngkin, and what's happening here in Virginia. Arrests have increased 468% from the same period last year. We didn't need new laws, as President Trump always said. We needed a new president. And we have great leadership standing behind him to fight to keep America safe and make America safe again. We will keep your community safe, and we will continue to do that.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, what, 435% increase in arrests? And then, of course, the deportations just keep going and going and going and going, despite all the judges that are like, wait, no, you can't do that. But I'll tell you, again, it comes back to you have to have cooperation amongst the states. If you want to clean these places up, you got to have governors like Glenn Youngkin there in Virginia willing to play ball. This is him just yesterday after these raids. Amazing, amazing job by law enforcement there. And he's like, hey, you know what? We wanted to do this all along, but we were never empowered. Imagine, you can't arrest the criminals?
First and foremost, this task force was designed in the White House with this team around the table. What do we need to do in order to go after the gangs, the cartels, and, of course, the drugs in a community like Northern Virginia, like Fairfax County, that has seen county leadership not pursue the necessary steps in order to fight this crime? And this task force was architected in a very quick period of time and stood up immediately. And in fact, when Director Patel was confirmed, within a day, he authorized this facility and these capabilities. General Bondi immediately came to lead it, and we found ourselves with truly one-of-a-kind resources going to work. And I just want to emphasize the pace and the focus. And so, no, these were not lists that were available in the previous administration because they wouldn't do that. And the minute...
Think about that. Why? If you know you have criminals, why would you not release the list? Why would you not empower law enforcement to go after them? I'm really troubled by that. I'm really significantly troubled by that. You know, I get, okay, they want open borders, blah, 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 open border society, George Soros and his big theories on that. But the criminals? I mean, I'm sorry, guys, you just completely lost everyone. I mean, I'm not a believer in the open borders, period, right? You know me, I want people to come in legally. Donald Trump has said all along, we can have a red carpet for people who want to come in legally. Let's know who's coming here. Let's keep track of them. But why are we having criminals come in? And then why are we defending the criminals? By the way, the judge that's wanted to stop the plane but didn't, Judge Boasberg, his daughter works for an NGO, interestingly enough, that works to defend all these MS-13 gang members that are here in the country illegally. I mean, it's just sort of weird. I'm sorry, you're losing me. Anyway, Tom Homan is very happy these days. I believe he said he feels like a kid in a candy shop because he can finally do his job, and all he wants to do is keep America safe. This is the latest out of America's Borders Are. Listen.
I think it's going to open up a lot of eyes. I think illegal aliens, the most vulnerable, are not going to spend their life savings to hand it to a criminal cartel to come to the United States, knowing we ended catch and release. You're not going to be released in the United States. You're going to be deported immediately. And as the Secretary said, we got a lot of tools in the toolbox. El Salvador prison's one. We got Gitmo. We got other countries. So for those countries who push back on taking their criminal nationals back, we'll send them to another country. We got a lot of tools in this toolbox. Again, President Trump's a game changer. We got illegal immigration on board down 96% because of the policies of the Trump administration. And we got, like I say, record number of criminals. We still got a lot more to do in the interior, but we got the right team put together. This is the greatest team I've seen in my over 40 years serving as a special agent, a border patrol agent. I've never seen a team this serious about making this country safe. We got a great president. He's got a great team. So I wake up every day like a kid in the candy shop, getting ready to go to work. And I know we're making a difference every day.
Isn't that amazing? So we're arresting violent gang members from El Salvador, sending them back to El Salvador. And for some reason, people have a real problem with this, so much so that we got to keep going back to the 1798 enemies list, which Donald Trump rightly articulated. You know, he may get into trouble with El Salvador because we're not technically at war with El Salvador, but could you be at war with these gangs? I think that's where the legal questioning is going to go. In terms of Venezuela, well, he's already announced effectively sanctions on Venezuela by saying anybody who does business with Venezuela is going to be hit with a 25% tariff, which is, again, as I said, effectively like a sanction, although without as much paperwork. Here he is saying, look, this is a time of war. We have to invoke the 1798 Aliens Enemy Act.
Criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals. Murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
Right. Okay, so, it's going to go through the courts, but this is a team that's saying, hey, you know what? We have the right to do this, and they're citing right now security concerns. So as the judges say, hey, wait, you can't do that. We want this information. We want that information. They're like, hang on. First of all, what gives you the right, the jurisdiction to do that? When it comes to actual security concerns, we're in the right here. We have the ability to move forward, and they're taking the ball, and they're running it all the way down to the goal. And Tom said it the other day, you know what? To hell with the judge. Basically, to hell with, like, who is this one judge who's going to get out in the way of us keeping the country safe when we are the ones charged with doing that? We are the federal government. Heck, guys, remember when Governor Abbott down in Texas was like, I want the wall. I want the wall to stay. And they kept tearing it down, the Biden administration. He's like, no, but we want that wall. We built it. Let's keep it. And he didn't have the right to keep that wall. I mean, it was at the point where we're like, hey, maybe Texas really needs to secede because this is nuts. This is not fair. This is not right. And yet the way the Constitution works, the federal government has that jurisdiction. And so ultimately, I think what you're going to see is they're going to have all the rights they want in terms of rounding people up that are a threat to the country and then putting them in the Guantanamo, for example, or sending them back to their own country since they were here illegally to begin with. Here's Tom Homan saying, yeah, he doesn't give 2 bits about any of these judges wanting to say any of these things. He's there to do a job.
So the question a lot of people have is, how long has this person been in the country? And could the Biden administration have taken him down?
Of course it could have. I mean, the Biden administration, they tied ISIS hands. They didn't have our government approach, right? The FBI is doing doing things they shouldn't have done. But now they got Kash Patel there, you got Pam Bondi, great AG, who's making the FBI do what they're born to do, doing what they're supposed to do, chasing the bad guys, making this country safer. That's why this whole government approach makes so much sense. When we go on these operations, if we find an illegal alien with dope, DEA can prosecute him. We find him with a gun. ATF can prosecute him. FBI finds a domestic terrorism or terrorism investigation. They can prosecute him. So we can prosecute these people before we deport them. Look, it's a game changer. Under President Trump's leadership, we've arrested more criminal foreign fugitives in this country, more criminal illegal aliens in this country in 2 months than Joe Biden did in an entire year. So game on.
Game on. Okay? Think about that. Border crossings falling 96%. And it didn't take any money. Remember how they go, we need this bill and we need this bill. We need another $1 trillion for this one because we're going to have to process all these people. No. You just actually enforce the rules and the laws that you actually already have on the books, guys. It's not that hard. I know you always want to spend more money, and I think they were just trying to find more ways to get everyone in. But they're going to keep moving forward every single day. They've made that very clear. And we've continued to see planes taken off with people that are known criminals that are here illegally. And that's how it's going down. So Alina Habba now is going to be able to contribute to that effort there in New Jersey, because New Jersey is all about, we're sanctuary, and sanctuary cities, sanctuary state, etc. So she's going to be after those guys there. Pam Bondi's continuing to move on New York and other places. And I'll tell you, things have got to change. AOC is scared out of her mind, going on to NPR. Oh, yeah, NPR. That's like the deep, deep state media, okay? You got MSNBC and then you got NPR, where they talk super softly into their microphones and they try and whisper sweet nothings that the liberal establishment wants you to believe. Yeah, NPR is in a whole lot of trouble. They're going to get defunded, of course, as they should, by the way. That's a whole racket. We're going to do a big expose on that on Monday. I talked a little bit with my friend Chris Salcedo on Newsmax about that today because it is a racket. And NPR is only 1% of your tax money is going to us. And I know a lot of people on Fox are like, oh my God, it's 1%. And that's a lot. Well, let me tell you, it's a lot more than 1%. This is like money laundering, news style. That's a little tease for you for Monday. We got a big thing coming up on that because NPR, whoa, what a joke. Anyway, they got NPR doing an interview with AOC, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid Tom Homan's going to arrest me. Well, it wouldn't be Tom, it would be Pam Bondi, and she's looking for clarification. I think they're kind of keeping their powder dry there. Pam's got a lot on her plate. I will say that because you know what? There's more coming. There's so much more coming.